The Secrets of Star Wars is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
Hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi here, also known as James Arnold Taylor, the voice of Obi-Wan,
Jedi Master Plo Koon,
and many other characters in the world of Star Wars. You're listening to... Shh, don't tell. It's The Secrets of Star Wars. May the Force be with you.
Hello there.
It's a power that Jedi have that lets them control people and make things float.
Impressive. Every word in that sentence was wrong.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
It's against my programming to impersonate a deity.
That's not how the Force works.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force, and I fear nothing.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You're listening to The Secrets of Star Wars, where we talk about everything connected to that galaxy far, far away. From movies to books, TV shows, and more, we're looking at the deeper themes and meanings found in the Star Wars universe. And this week, we are discussing LEGO Star Wars, Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Star Wars on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your favorite podcast app, or on the StarQuest YouTube channel. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/StarQuest, or on X, where we are at SQPN, or on Instagram, where we are at StarQuest Network. And be sure to get your official Secrets of Star Wars gear at SQPN.com/merch. I'm your host, Patrick Mason, and joining me tonight on the panel is Kathryn Laffrey. Hey, Kathryn.
Hey, Patrick.
And Jeff Haecker. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Pat.
All right, so let's dive into this new addition to LEGO Star Wars, Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past. Jeff, take us away with the recap.
All right, so continuing from the first series, Sig is training under Jedi Bob, now known as Aphel. Sig has visions of his brother Dev on Dathomir. So Sig, Aphel, and Sig's friend Yessi travel to Dathomir to find Dev, but not before they are captured by the Landalorian and the Baby Yoda, and brought to Darth Ray and Darth Rose aboard the partially armed and semi-operational Battle Ball, aka the Death Star. When Darth Ray refuses to pay Landalorian the bounty, the group teams up and escapes the LEGO Death Star commercial and make it to Dathomir. They find Dev acting erratically and trying to tap into a mysterious power source. Sig tries to bring Dev to the light side, but they begin fighting, and the resulting conflict is powerful enough to generate a Force dyad. The power of the dyad brings Solitus, Aphel's former master, back from the Force Hold, where he had been banished by Aphel for trying to use the Force Hold for his own purposes. Solitus attacks various worlds and sends them to the Force Hold. Dev, Sig, and Aphel meet various characters from Star Wars media and work together, along with Ahsoka Tano, to escape the Force Hold. Yessi and Aphel, if Aphel was not there yet. Yessi and Aphel travel using hyperspace-capable Porgil to find and save the brothers, but they save the Skywalker family instead. Pirate Queen Amidala captures the Skywalkers and plans to throw the non-Skywalkers into the Snoke Pit, but Dev and Sig learn Solitus wants to unmake the galaxy and save them. Together, they build a fleet of ships and attack Solitus. Solitus convinces Dev to join him, and the galaxy is sent to the Force Hold, which cannot contain all of it. But everyone manages to form a Force myriad and escape, and Dev, Sig, and Aphel team up to take down Solitus. After defeating him, everything is at peace, and Dev decides to stick around and rebuild with Sig.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, let's start with some overall impressions, and I think I'd like to start with Kathryn.
Well, it was lots of fun, as always. Gotta love the Lego fun. And some good little tidbit shout-outs and all kinds of other crossovers in this one. Had a Marvel feel at times, a little Pirates of the Caribbean. It was just the best you could do with Lego is just let it scatter all over the place and rebuild, and it was awesome.
What about you, Jeff? What did you think?
Yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. A lot of great references and deep cuts, as they even self-reference that it's a deep cut for Jackson the bunny.
Very deep cut.
And yeah, I had not rewatched the original series first. I kind of read some recaps, but I probably should have because I've forgotten a lot of stuff, but I did really like it, and even though it was on the surface, it's, Lego humor, very jokey. It did have some deeper layers and hidden meanings that we like to talk about. Very much family friendly, because we haven't really seen, I'm trying to think of an example in Star Wars of, at least in canon, of a brother and sister calling the other back to the light side of the Force or something like that. We've had other relationships do that, father and son, mother and son, things like that, but can't really think of a brother, or a sibling relationship like that. So I thought that was kind of a nice twist on this, where you have one sibling light side, one sibling dark side, and one is calling the other, back. So I did really like that, and overall it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's that's, I think, one of the best things about Lego stuff is it has no problem with breaking the fourth wall pretty continuously throughout the course of the show, and this was all about that. I think one of my favorite characters is Servo, the droid, and he's
got emotions.
The emotion I'm feeling right now is exasperation at you two. But I even from the get-go, from the very opening little, I don't know what to call it anymore, the Star Wars opener where they have the faces of the blue and red. Yeah, it's not, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then Servo shows up and is like, yay, more Lego Star Wars.
Oh, the helmets. Yeah.
Yeah, the helmets.
Uh-huh.
So
when Servo says, that's shiny.
Ooh, that's shiny. Look at that logo. Yeah. So, there's a lot of new characters in the show compared to the original, which had a lot of new characters, like new to the show itself. But this had a lot of draw-ins from other shows. What were some of y'all's favorite pull-ins that we saw?
The giant-headed Ahsoka. I love the fact that they messed with proportions. When you're building with Lego, you've got so many different ways that you can construct things. And even while you're watching, you'll see like different versions of the same ship in different scale. And it's just, fewer Legos and simplified. I loved how they did that. It would catch me. I mean, the second time I watched it, I was looking for all that fun little stuff, including found a fingerprint on Sig.
Oh, really?
Like when you hold a little figure long enough and you can leave a fingerprint in the design on the front of their shirt. Huh. And it's when he was, it was early on when he was like wanted to keep sleeping and Servo was using his new alarm, whatever. But when he rolled over just right, the light caught the design that shows his shirt and it looked like a big old fingerprint or thumbprint in the design. It looked really cool.
Huh. I gotta go back and check that. That's really cool.
I was like, look at how it's made, seeing where there's little, wear marks on different designs and things like that.
This was all digital though. This wasn't stop motion animation, right?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell nowadays.
Yeah. I assume it was digital, and yeah, the Ahsoka one, that's actually a series of Lego sets called Brickheads. So she came from like a Brickheads universe, which is they're more like character based models rather than like a ship or a playscape or something like that has the included minifigures. It's just like the very blocky kind of stylized characters. So that's what Ahsoka was, and you saw more of them at the end. Like she came from which is funny because she comes from a Brickheads universe within the Lego Star Wars universe. So I did really like that inclusion of those.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see that, the Brickheads ones, and then some of the giant models, which, we got with Chewbacca and K2SO. They're giant, which I don't have any of the giant ones. I've got a lot of Lego Star Wars now. I'm looking at my cabinet. But None of the giant ones, because I'm like, I don't even know where I would put this. So, what about you, Jeff? What was your favorite?
Yeah, there were some good ones, and the one that I enjoyed seeing it the most, but it was also kind of just a little bit disappointing to me, was seeing Darth Revan there, because Darth Revan, for those who don't know, is from Knights of the Old Republic, the RPG game that was back on Xbox back in the early mid 2000s, and I played that game multiple times. And it's the kind of game where you basically you're given a blank slate character that becomes a Force user, and you can kind of choose to do light side things or dark side things. And there's an overall story you follow, but you basically get to embody yourself into the character and play it however you want. And so seeing Darth Revan because in the story essentially is Revan was a Sith during like these wars in the 4,000 years before the original, and he lost his memory and that's when you take over the character, and you can become a Jedi light side or dark side.
Oh, okay.
But I was hoping they were going to do some kind of reference or some kind of jokes about Revan being like not knowing who he wants to be, because referencing that you're the player, like Revan is you as the player, so you get to kind of pick how you want to play.
Okay.
I was hoping for something there, and Revan was only on screen for just a very brief, that one brief fight in the Force Hold, and then I don't think he was back again. So that was a little bit of a bummer to me, but I was happy to see him. So, but the one that I think that was probably the most fun was like the Dark K2SO. I think was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
because we love K2SO from Andor and Rogue One, and very heroic the most more or less. He does have some quirks that involve killing stormtroopers and things like that. But this one he was like fully a dark side kind of, or like an evil version of K2. And I believe it was Alan Tudyk voicing him again, which and if it wasn't, they found someone who really sounded like him. But
yeah, they did a good job of sounding like Alan Tudyk.
Yeah, if it wasn't Alan Tudyk, so
it was him. If I
okay.
At the cast list, and he did his voice.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I love seeing Alan Tudyk is just so fun in anything he does. So I was happy we got the K2 and then he not only was the servant to Solitus, but then he became like the big mecha K2 and got to fight the Kaiju Godzilla or Kaiju Chewbacca version. So yeah, I think K2 is probably my favorite that we got to see.
Yeah, he was a really good one. I really like that one. Yeah, I think getting to see Obi-Wan, Darth Obi-Wan, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Using like all of the same lines from the movies.
That was always fun to catch them reusing a line, but just in a different way now. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
So they even brought in the classic, I know.
Yeah. Yeah. I love you. I know. No, man, I love you too, bro. All right, so besides him, the bunny man,
Jackson,
who's got the history on that? Is that you, Jeff?
I know just a tiny bit. I don't know if Kathryn knows more.
I just saw what I could look up, and it was, I guess, Marvel brought him in a comic.
Yeah, so when they made the original Star Wars comics after the original movie, Marvel came out with a line of comics, and one of the characters they came up with was Jackson, the Bunny Man, and he was kind of like a smuggler character that and I've not read any of this. This is just what I've read on Wikipedia, that interacted with Han Solo and others of that nature. And he had a ship. I believe his ship was named the Rabbit's Foot, if I'm not mistaken. So like his species is like I think they're called the Leppy or something like that. But of course, he's a rabbit, a green rabbit. So and I think he's been brought into canon in some of the comics and other things like that. So I don't know as much about the character, but it was funny how they referenced that it is and he was voiced by I can't think of the actor's name, Ben Schwartz, maybe, the actor who played if you've seen Parks and Rec, John Ralphio, and like other kind of characters like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he was a lot of fun as a character too.
And we also got our pirate R2D2 because we had
with a peg leg and everything.
Yes. We had bounty hunting C-3PO in the last one, and we get pirate R2D2. Yeah. This was
loved that whole pirate sequence. Oh,
yeah,
beautiful.
The pirate queen Amidala.
Mm-hmm.
And the I liked how it was sort of Jabba's palace ish.
Yeah, it was his sail barge ship, but made into like an actual pirate ship.
Yeah. Someday I want to get that set, but it's like $500. It's ridiculous. But I really want it. But either way, yeah. And then we had the pit of Snoke's.
The snake pit.
Snoke pit.
Who is he? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, they were almost poking fun at themselves, at Star Wars for that because there was all the behind the scenes stuff with making the sequel movies where they, have different creators and nobody's talking to each other. It seemed like on who's gonna be what. So I did like that. That was a great reference to poking fun at themselves.
Yeah. And then I think the other interesting one was with Asajj Ventress with the
Day
light.
Sisters.
Yeah, the Day Sisters.
The Day Sisters.
Yeah, it was very bright and like jungly, which Dathomir, if you've seen the Clone Wars episodes of Dathomir, it's at least the parts we've seen are it's a swamp or a desert, and they made it into like a bright jungle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were riding the Rancors.
Yeah.
Which that's a thing from the Courtship of Princess Leia novel, which is not canon, but because the Dathomirians and that I believe they were humans, but they were like Force witches. And they weren't necessarily, there were the Night Sisters who were definitely specifically evil, but then you had others who were not, but they did ride Rancors. So I like that I think they've joked about that in the canon stuff. I don't think they've actually shown the Dathomirians riding them in canon, but I think they've like referenced that they do. But I did like seeing that on screen.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, because I think the only canon riding Rancor we've seen has been Boba Fett at the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, which was fun.
Yeah.
If not good, it was at least fun. So what do we think of the main original character they introduced this time out, Solitus, the Jedi Master to Jedi Bob?
I mean, he went off the deep end fast, that's for sure. Although he was using purple lightsabers, so it's like he's trying to like walk the edge there, but I don't know, right away, as soon as I saw his name and the way he was acting, I went right to Endgame. And what was his name? Who's getting all
Thanos.
Thanos, yes. I was like, that's all this guy wants to do is retire to someplace quiet. Like, what? He's a Thanos.
Yeah, when I first saw him, I was wondering if they were trying to like put him as almost like a canon version of, or not canon, but a version of Plagueis, because he kind of has that little bit of an alien look, or I mean, he was an alien look of some sort. I don't think they said kind of what his species was, and it doesn't really matter, but I kind of thought that's
the same as Cad Bane.
Yeah.
Oh, a Duro? Okay.
Yeah, that's because his eyes are red like that. It's not because he's evil.
Oh, okay.
It's just the
and
Duro.
no nose.
Yeah.
Well, it's Lego, so you can never. I was never completely sure if he was, but okay, gotcha.
Anybody have a nose?
But yeah, no, he was kind of an interesting character in his relation with Bob, aka Aphel, which Aphel, if you're not sure, if you've never heard as well, is the term that means adult fan of Lego. So I did like that as a reference to that. When they said Aphel, I was like, oh, nice, because that's kind of like a Lego fan term of, So, Patrick, it sounds like you are an AFOL.
I did not realize they had a label for folks like me. Yeah. Sitting across from my Death Star and my and I am like super excited. Like they kind of showcased that with because they're coming out with a new Death Star pretty soon, and we got sort of a side cut battle ball run through.
Well, that's what the set's going to be. It's like a I forget the term. It's not going to be a fully round thing. It's going to be like where you see the various little like rooms and scenes. But I thought that was funny. It was basically a commercial for that for that set, because they showed every like running through all the different rooms and stuff. But I also like that they called it the partially armed and semi-operational battle ball at first. Yeah. And like, you mean the Death Star? Why didn't we think of that?
Oh, that's such a better name.
I loved how they ran through every scene so quickly. It was like, oh my gosh, yeah, just like that movie, just like that. Oh, awesome. That was great.
They're flying away.
I loved Servo's little shout out. His little brave little droid. I'm like, oh, he's the brave little toaster.
Oh man, there's a deep cut. I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Yeah, Servo made so much of that show for me. I don't know. Such good, like, and I've seen it done so wrong so many times, where the comedic relief is just too much constantly, which you would think would be hard to do with Lego, but I think they do a good job with him and with the other comedic elements that they use. Like Servo's kind of the big one, but I think they actually balance that pretty well.
Yeah, and he actually ends up wanting to be a stand-up comic on the new planet with his girlfriend there, because I forget what all he said, but he was like, I've done different jobs, so now I'm going to try this.
Stand-up comic. That's right. He falls in love with a
Viper.
Viper. That's right. That's right. The probe droid. The Viper. Who threatens to dismantle him or self-destruct several times. So this introduces the first, Rebuild the Galaxy introduced this concept that, there's Lego Galaxy in Star Wars can be completely, torn apart and rebuilt, if you mess with this, one corner master block in this one Jedi temple, on accident. Right. And we learn, after, was it Sig and Dev, or is it just Dev? But once they pull that piece and they completely redo the galaxy, and they're searching to try and find a way to make it back to the way it was, and you find out at the end, spoilers, at the end of the first set of shows, Rebuild the Galaxy, that you can't. Like once you've rebuilt it, once the universe, I guess, has been rebuilt via the magic block or the force block, or whatever you want to call it.
Cornerstone, I think.
Cornerstone, yeah. Cornerstone. The cornerstone, that it can't be unrebuilt. It's got to stay as it is, or you can rebuild it another way, which I find to be extremely true for Legos. Like once you build it one way and you tear it apart, you're not just going to rebuild it that same way. But this introduces the new concept that you have this external universe, the Force Hold, which kind of holds on to different parts and pieces of previous iterations of the galaxy, while the galaxy outside of it continues to change. What did y'all think about that, and the concept of Solitus going there and trying to use it to destroy the galaxy, basically?
Well, the Force Hold kind of seemed like that space under the couch that collects the random pieces you drop and lose.
Oh man, I hadn't thought about it like that.
It's where lost pieces end up, and it's a whole different galaxy under there.
Yeah.
How they just kind of float around randomly, and made me think about when Yoda, toward the end of the Clone Wars, went to like that origin planet for the Force.
Oh yeah.
And everything's just floating in chunks. So it kind of had a feel of that, and then a little bit of Thor Ragnarok.
Oh yeah.
The planet where all the trash just kind of gets dumped out of those little portals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I almost kind of imagine it almost like in Loki, in the series Loki, I forget what they called it, where they send the end of time or whatever, where they send everything, send all the broken pieces of other universes or everything. So
yeah, I half expected the Aboleth to show up. Like I was like, I wonder if they're gonna bring that in.
Aboleth, yeah, they're saving that for Ahsoka. I bet. That would be wild to introduce that character in Lego.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny though.
But we know which character was missing. Hey, there's one name I always say. Do I have to say it?
Thrawn.
What?
But I did
Thrawn?
finally get some justification. Great shout out when Essie was calling out for people. And she's like, is anybody listening? Hux. And then she says Mara. And I'm like, yes, she does exist somewhere.
That's right. She did say Hux, didn't she?
I didn't catch that, Mira. That would have blown my mind if I heard it, because yeah, I'm a big fan of the Zahn trilogy, the original trilogy as well. So
well, it was funny because when they had all the characters at the end fighting, and you like see little snippets of people like, oh, that's from that, and then you see Wrecker was in there too for a brief second. I'm like, oh, show me a little redhead somewhere, and it'll be Mara.
Redhead with a purple lightsaber.
Yep.
Yeah, no Thrawn. I wonder what would Thrawn be in this galaxy, do you think?
He'd be like an art gallery owner or something.
Oh my gosh, yes. That would have been hilarious.
'Cause that's what he really likes, is art, but he's, forced into use it for military gain or military, conquering.
They could have done just a brief snippet of someone going through a town, and you'd see a little art gallery, and like everybody rushing past would like mess up all his stuff, and he'd be like, oh, I'm having to put it back together.
Yeah. No, yeah, that would have been pretty good. I would have liked, that would have been good.
Yeah, I think there's probably reasons they're not touching some characters, and I think it's because they want to, they don't want to go too far into characters that'll be important in upcoming stuff, even though it's completely different because it's Lego. And I mean, they had the brickhead Ahsoka, but that I think I don't think there was an Ahsoka in the first one, in the first series. So it kind of made sense to bring her in, because she is kind of one of the big, most important characters that Disney has created. But yeah, that would have been, seeing Thrawn or some of those others would have been cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think if you had, because Ahsoka would have probably had to have been another dark side character, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, like Dark Ahsoka or something.
Yeah, and I think I have a guess that they didn't want to do that with her because they're doing stuff with her currently.
Right.
But bringing her in as a brickhead from another universe was probably okay to do. So that's probably why they're not doing Thrawn.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
but yeah,
sometimes she was self-conscious of being different. And thank you for the sidecar.
Yeah, and then when they go back to the universe and she's basically on her back like a turtle and she can't get up, and Servo has to get her up. She's like, don't tell anyone. Yeah. And then she goes and finds her own blockhead folks that are also, I guess, somewhere else out there in the Force Hold.
And she's just the right size for that, like the droideka, like the giant droideka machine. Like, forget who gets in there and like, I'm just not big enough. I was like twice as tall and had, and it's like, she's like, I fit perfectly.
It's like, it's built just for me. Yeah. So we get Solitus coming out of the Force Hold into reality, and so from what I could tell, his plan was basically just to, blink the galaxy out of existence and then make a dust planet he could live on. I don't know. I never get that, like, that version of bad guy, because I don't know. Thanos made more sense to put it. Like, I wasn't sure exactly what Solitus was going for here. If it was just simply revenge, or if it was peace and quiet, like he says after he blacks everything out. I don't know. What did you guys think?
Yeah, he seems like a grumpy old guy. He just was like, leave me alone. I need my little corner of, the world or galaxy. Just, leave me all alone.
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted, was just to be left alone. And like, because we see him in Aphel, because Aphel's his apprentice, when he's in the past, and we see him finding all these ancient artifacts and wanting to use them for power. And when he went to the Force Hold, he was using them to learn and study and stuff. So yeah, I think he just ultimately decided that he just wanted the galaxy to be empty except for him, and I guess his droids, and I guess Dev as well, since Dev joined him. So yeah, I think he just wanted some peace and quiet.
I've taken a cue from Angela here and looking up names, and it says that Solitus in Latin means usual, customary. It's like for like a normal positioning of organs in the body is often used that word. So it's like, okay, he just wants everything in a normal position, I guess.
Well, I think it's kind of like I think it's like solitude, like kind of like Vader is similar to Father and other things like that. I think that's where they were coming from with Solitus, is he wanted just solitude, but like he couldn't have anything else in the galaxy to bother him, so everything else had to go away.
Yeah, I just kind of like that brings up the question about taking Dev on though as an apprentice. Like, what do you think his plan was for Dev? Because he takes Dev on, kind of in the moment in order to get Dev to betray his brother and Jedi Bob. Sorry, I'm not going to call him Jedi Bob.
So much easier to call him Jedi Bob.
But he gets Dev to betray them, and then he's supposedly going to be Dev's master. But what's the point of having an apprentice if you're in a null zone or a null universe, or like, what do you think he was going to do with Dev?
Keep him as a pet?
Yeah, I don't really have a guess either. I think it was kind of like, I think in story it was just so that he could get rid of everyone else, and Dev was the means to do that. And then he probably would have eventually gotten rid of Dev, and I don't know if he would have kept the droids around either. But yeah, I think I think it was just kind of a means to an end there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt it was playing out. That like he was going to probably get rid of Dev at some point. But we see in the scene, and it's funny, and maybe I'm analyzing a Lego Star Wars movie too much, but we see in the scene after he's created his Fortress of Solitude, and he's talking to Dev like he's still going to teach him stuff and real power and everything. And I guess on the flip side of that, do you think Dev betrays his brother and Jedi Bob after Jedi Bob mishandles the whole situation pretty dramatically? Do you think Dev is playing Solitus the whole time, or do you think he's actually, like, there was a real betrayal there, or like it was him sort of betraying Solitus, but also thinking, hey, the only way we're going to beat this guy is if we've got an in on him?
I was thinking that watching it twice helped, but I feel like he thought he needed to give up trying to beat him in order to find a way to beat him. like, I'm just going to give up, see what his story is, go along with it. Because he does save his brother right away. And Solitus calls him out on it. What'd you save him for? And then the best, he delivers the line that for sure he was never going to completely betray his brother when he calls him Siggy.
Yeah.
Because when he's with his brother, when he understands that this relationship will not die, he always calls him Sig or Siggy.
Yeah, I think he probably, because he says at the end, the only way I could beat him is if I got in his good graces, or he says something to that effect. So I think that was his plan all along, was to, on the face of things, betray his brother in order to get in, become the inside man. And I don't know that he necessarily planned to team up with Sig and Bob, and in the big kind of final fight, or if it was just like he knew that was all he could do in the moment, was to buy time, or whatever the case may be. So I think he ultimately did plan to betray Solitus, and also probably still meant to save his brother and team up with him in the end. But yeah, I don't know for sure.
Yeah, it was very much a question mark in my mind at the end of the show. I'm like, did he mean to do what he did, like from the get-go? Like, I'm gonna pretend to betray my brother, because he does save Sig. He gives kind of the because I want him to suffer answer, which Solitus just sort of accepts. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was interesting. That it was one of the cooler plot points. So Forcehold has the little village inside of it where the rabbit guy, the bunny man lives. What did you guys notice any other characters from that?
Like in the village?
Mm-hmm.
I just loved getting to the village. This is the way, because a Mandalorian told me this is the way. Oh, that was awesome. So simple things that just make me laugh. That was
good.
Yeah, I've only watched it once, so I didn't, if I watched it again, maybe I'll catch things. But I think they did kind of call out a lot of the major references, but I'm sure there's, smaller ones here and there that were kind of like, if you know, but if you don't, you have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, part of me wants to go back to that scene and just freeze frame it a couple times and try and pick out who's who and what's what. Because you get a feeling there's probably several people from extended universes or some of the old stuff that are in there. But
wasn't Jedi Cal in there, or what?
Yeah, Cal Kestis. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he talks later on, so he was kind of more involved later. But
what's he from again?
He's from the
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, the Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor games.
That's right.
The more recent games, and I've not played them, but I've heard they're good. But I think
talked my daughters into getting it to play it so I can know this story.
Nice.
Mom's not good at video games. This sounds really interesting. I've heard people talk about it.
So we have the escape from the Forcehold requires a iad or aad of the Force, whether it's a dyad or a myriad. I thought that was pretty clever, to be honest. The dyad and the Force being bringing together and breaking apart the Jedi builder, Sith breaking, forces working together, kind of at the same time. Well, so we've only had one other dyad in the Force sort of in canon, to my knowledge. Unless we count, it depends. So it depends, I guess, on how you feel about the acolyte, the twin situation there. But
Luke and Mara, but wait, another universe.
That's it. Yeah. So, okay, is the dyad that Rey and oh man,
Kylo
Ben?
Ren.
Yeah, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. Is that dyad patterned off the Luke Mara material?
Actually, it's patterned off Palpatine and Mara because she was the Emperor's hand, so he could talk to her like they were in the same room no matter where she was in the galaxy. And that's what made her like his super secret agent that could bring messages to anyone, anywhere, and throw his force around. So, because that's why she was the Emperor hand. So I was happy when they put that in the sequels. I mean, with the wrong people. It was neat to see it. Okay, cool. They know that there's really good stuff in those books that they had to use.
And the sequel books, you're talking about the ones that are actually part of the canon now.
Well, like the sequel movies, but the
I get
the original Thrawn books. There was a lot of stuff in the sequel movies that was actually pulled from some of those early books from the 90s.
Okay.
They just did it with different people.
Yeah. Okay. I was just curious on that one. So
yeah, I don't think it's it's not like a 1-to-1 comparison, but there are elements that they've brought in, kind of like they brought in a lot of elements of other things. Like now with like Ahsoka, they're bringing in elements of the of Abeloth, seemingly, and other things like that. They're kind of recontextualizing things from the old legends. So yeah, it's not exactly the same. And yeah, I want to say that there's been, if you read some of the other, like, not novels, but they've come out with like reference books like Sith history and things like that within the canon, where they kind of like go through the various lineage of the Sith and things. There's been dyads that they've talked about, but I don't think we've seen anything on screen other than Rey and Ben Solo. And then I guess if you count the dyad of the two of the sisters from Acolyte, I don't know if I do, but
yeah,
as a dyad
really
necessarily,
sure.
But
right, if they're a dyad or if there's something else,
because they were the same being split into two is kind of what they were implying. So I don't know if that implies a dyad or a monad. I don't know.
Split monad.
Yeah.
So we get, but it looks like in the Lego universe, a dyad is just a pair of folks.
Yeah.
They were doing something.
It was fun that it was brothers, because especially that one's a builder and one's a wrecker, so to speak. Because I have two brothers, and they were notorious for destroying each other's builds. No matter what it was. Build a block tower. No, the other one knocks it down. Build a model airplane. The other one crashes it,
Yeah. So they played the Sith breaker to each other's Jedi builder. And I like that sort of, that's the way they went with the kind of how they interact with the Lego world, is the Sith are the breakers and the Jedi are the builders. Which I always find, like, so I'm just gonna jump from character to character at this point. How do we like Palpatine as a Jedi?
A creepy Jedi. Just always has that slight little creepiness about him.
Yeah, I like it as a tool, because we're never going to see a good Palpatine, or like a good Emperor Palpatine character in anything. He's always going to be the evil Sith. So I do like that we get like this twist on it here, because this is where you can play around with things like that. So I like that really for all the characters, they're using their same lines, or if they're not using the same lines, they're like twisting their lines. Like they said, I have the high ground. I think later Padme says, "You're going down a path I can follow," because we get her and Anakin's. I guess they broke up, and she didn't know her kids or something.
Yeah,
and they're gonna get back together, I guess.
Which I love. Vader talking about that. Well, I had the moral high ground, but she had the actual high ground.
Yeah.
So, which means in this universe, it wasn't Obi-Wan who took out Vader; it was Padme, which her pirate
Didn't
Queen
he actually
Amidala.
Did he say a pirate's life is not for me?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
C-3PO constantly saying "me hearties."
Yeah.
So on the flip side of that, how do we feel about Jar Jar going down the same path as Darth Maul?
Spider legs and all. Oh.
Yeah,
that was fun having him come back, and he would be the one to let all the little Sith out of their cage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I've never been a fan of the Darth Jar Jar theory, so. But I like the Lego version, but I like that they brought all these, because I believe we had Darth Ray and Darth Rose from the other one as well, and Jar Jar. So I like that he became the one with like the crazy legs and the spider legs and everything, and we did get Maul here too, but he was like a peaceful guy. So
yeah,
building us on a snow planet, I guess,
and singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the snow version of Cloud City, and he was singing Duel of the Fates, but what was like it's fantastic or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I kept expecting him to like dip into a Let It Go song at some point while he was sitting there and all the snow around him.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, and we had the Mandalorian had the one oh shoot, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was there with Maul in Snow City. I have spoken.
Oh, Quill. Yeah.
Quill, yeah. He was there. I don't remember.
Not have spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got it. You said Mandalorian, but this one we have the Landalorian.
The Landalorian.
That is suave talk.
With his subthermal detonators. Wait, did you say subthermal? What does that mean?
Yeah. Those have been very handy. Automatically flash.
Sig and Yessie and Bob are all going crazy over, look at his little ears and his big eyes. Oh, he's so cute. He's a baby Yoda.
The baby Yoda.
Grogu, baby.
I don't care what his name is. It's so cute. Which, of course, was everybody's reaction to Grogu's name. It's like, yeah, whatever. Still baby Yoda. Yeah. I like the Landalorian. That was a pretty good use of that character, I thought. Does make me think of where the actual Mandalorian is.
Mm.
And if he'll show up at some point. And what he'll be. Because that's something we really haven't seen yet is a lot of Mandalorians. We've got pretty much just the Landalorian. I wonder if they'll all be Lando.
Well, the thing about that is, I believe one of the original ideas in the when they were making the original movies was that Lando was going to be the clone like template, or he was going to be a clone that survived up until Empire Strikes Back. So I don't know if they were going with anything there, because of course now we know that Boba is a clone, and Boba was the first because the Mandalorians were kind of created as a super stormtrooper kind of a character, but obviously they changed that and went with making Boba Fett his own thing as a Mandalorian. So I don't know if they were like that was in any of the decision making there of having him be the like part of the clone template legacy, I guess is what I would call it. But and like you said, they probably won't bring in Mandalorians because they want to do stuff with them in the live action stuff. So that could be why they don't show more. But
yeah, there is kind of however, they do have a Darth Rey, and they're supposed to be doing a bunch of stuff with her. So
are they though? Will it actually happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and I think I don't know about you guys, but I thought the whole X-Wing movie was dead as a doornail, and then all of a sudden we hear all the news about it, and we're like, oh, I guess they're still doing it.
Are you talking about Starfighter or something different?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's like not because Rogue Squadron was something else that they were going to do.
Oh, okay.
I think this is its own thing. I don't think so. I think Rogue Squadron was supposed to be kind of about like the characters from, or like a squadron taking place in like the Galactic Civil War. So, and it was with Patty Jenkins, I think, was the one she was trying to make like a pilot type of like war movie, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I think is something different. But I mean, they might reuse some of the ideas from it. I don't know.
Okay. I thought it was basically the same, or three directors later.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Always in motion is the future. Star Wars movies.
Oh my gosh. Control. You must learn control. Okay, so yeah. I think overall this was a really, really great show. Did you guys have any other bits and pieces you wanted to talk about?
I was wondering if you two Middle Earthers caught the Lord of the Rings reference. And it was after they were in their little solitude and they're just standing there looking out, and then you get the beam of light when all the people come back from the Force hold. It was just like the opposite of when you have the beam of light shooting up when Gandalf and who was with him, Merry or Pippin, looking out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? The big green beam of light. And everybody's like, freaking out. This was like the opposite of that. So you have like this light coming down and then all the good guys showing up instead of the other way around. It was like, I don't know. Had a Middle Earth feel to me. Just kind of like undone.
Yeah. It did. Yeah, that landscape especially had a very Middle Earth feel to it, especially like Mordorish, I guess. I very much expected to get an Eye of Sauron reference at some point in all that, because it's such a big and that is a huge Lego set as well. That's another one of those I'd love to own, but also would have to mortgage my house.
Yeah, no other thoughts. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm assuming they're gonna make at least one more, because Star Wars likes to work in threes, so hopefully they make another Star Wars series, a Lego series, because these have been fun. And there's for listeners, if you haven't seen some of the other Lego Star Wars content, like the Freemaker Saga is a pretty fun and entertaining one too. So that one's not as that one's more of like taking place within the established universe, but that one is a lot of fun too. So yeah, I hope they just keep making this Lego Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I loved. I think the Porgils.
Yeah,
were pretty amazing. Both the explanation of what they were, and then when we got to see them.
And they did all similar to that. They had the was it the BB-8 wing or whatever? The giant BB droid that was the ship.
Yeah, being flown by Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
beach bum Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
that's a minifig I want to get. I want to I'm curious to see if so. They released the Dark Falcon as a Lego set after the first one. Do you think that they're gonna do any sets out of this one? Is my question.
Oh, they have to do the ship that Sig and his brother built.
The Force Burner or whatever. That's a cool name.
Force Burner. I'm
good at making names.
That was great.
Yeah. Force Burner would be good. I think the BB-8. What did they call it?
I think it was like the
BB-8 wing.
Yeah, or BB wing or something.
Yeah, that would make a really good one. Maybe the ship Darth, or not Darth. Is it just Solitus? Did they call him Darth Solitus?
I think they just call him Solitus.
Yeah, because he's not really a Sith. He's a fallen Jedi. And his ship, which is kind of it's a combination between a Corellian Corvette, one of the droid
control ships.
Yeah, droid control ships from the Trade Federation, but with two of the First Order AT-AT things on the front of it. It's kind of a weird design. That ship would be really cool, but I'm sure also stupid expensive. Like most of the big ships. So I think that's what I'd like to see that. Yeah. Well, good deal. Anything else? Any other?
Yeah, the third episode had the best end credit music.
Like silence?
It was awesome.
Just complete silence.
It's like you're so used to all the crazy, especially with the Lego stuff. It's all loud. It's all, bright, colorful. And then you get silence. And I was like, okay, that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, they really did a good job with this. How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, no, nothing else. I think, it was fun. It was entertaining. And yeah, it's one I want to go back and rewatch to look for any other references or things I missed. So yeah, it's a good one.
Unlike most shows that have an Easter egg now and again, this is just an Easter egg hunt. It's just baskets and baskets. Well, that's it for this episode of Secrets of Star Wars. We'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons, including Christopher H., Vincenza C., Marcus, Gwenin M., and Joshua F. Their generous donations help us to create the Secrets of Star Wars and all the shows here at StarQuest, and you can join them at sqpn.com/give. And now we'd like to hear from you, our listeners. What are your thoughts on Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, Pieces of the Past? Who is your favorite cameo? What playset would you like to see? Please let us know by sending us an email at starwars@sqpn.com, or you can hit us up on our social media pages, by leaving a comment on YouTube or Spotify, or by joining the ever awesome and super fun conversation on our channel at StarQuest Discord server. We have both a regular channel and a spoilers channel that you can join at sqpn.com/discord. Well, until next time, Kathryn Laffrey, thank you for joining me for the Secrets of Star Wars.
Thank you, Patrick. This was fun.
Yeah. And Jeff Haecker, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Pat.
And once again, I'm Patrick Mason. Thank you all for listening to the Secrets of Star Wars on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Star Trek. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/StarTrek.